Thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to members of the public who may have been waiting for us to come back on. We've just been in part 2. We're now back in part 1, and the meeting will be continuing live on our YouTube channel. I'm now going to ask councillors if anybody wishes to speak now in part 1. And I have Councillor Rimmer indicating. Thank you.
With my assessment of the situation, that our officers have done all they possibly could do to actually gather the information that's needed to present to us in this report today, and to make a valid assessment of the planning applications. And from my part, I am going to go fully along with the officer recommendations on this.
Thank you, Councillor Rimmer. I'm now going to come to Councillor Morris. Councillor Morris isn't unmuted. There we go. Sorry, Councillor Morris.
Trouble was I wasn't muted, and I got muted instead of unmuted. Right, it's very clear that from the enforcement notices and the timing of the planning applications, etc., that all of these plots were aware that they should have put in planning application before they started building on this site. It's also very clear that this is and was a greenfield site, a green belt site, which has now been torn up to put the caravans on. It has changed the whole aspect of the site. It maybe has desecrated a great crested newt site. And there doesn't appear to be any really special circumstances that would go against the Greenbelt assumption that there's no building should be done on it. So it seems to me that I will be voting that we do not give permission. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any of the councillors indicating? No. Well, with that, then I will go to the vote. Councillors, to make you aware, we're going to vote each plot in turn. Could you please unmute councillors? Thank you. So first of all, we will come to plot 1. You're taking me by surprise there. Oh, sorry. You want me to read that update sheet first?
I didn't lose my mind. Okay, Janice and I have a lot in common. We've both been divorced. We both have kids.
So are you actually going to see her again?
Maybe don't put ideas in his head. I am going to see her again. Damn it, Phoebe.
Sorry, councillors, we were just taking, just ensuring something legally was done in a correct manner. Okay, so I'm going to come to the vote which will be item agenda plot, looking at plot 1, which is item agenda 5. It is recommended that the committee resolves that planning permission be refused, as outlined in the report on page 38 onwards. If I can take that vote, please. So I'll come to Councillor McGeorge.
In favour of the recommendation.
I will now come to Councillor Morris.
Sorry, Chair, could I just have clarification of what we're voting on again?
We're voting on the recommendation, item agenda 5, which is plot 1, and it is recommended that the committee resolves that plan permission be refused for the reasons outlined in the agenda. Are you okay with that, Councillor Rimmer?
Yes, that's okay. I just thought you'd added something extra on. Apologies.
Nothing else added extra. I will now come to Councillor Rimmer,
4.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
Or in favour of the officer's recommendations to refuse, yes.
Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. Thank you. We'll now move to item agenda 6. And the recommendation is that the committee resolves that planning permission be refused for the reasons outlined in the agenda from page 25 to 44. I will again come round councillors individually to vote. Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
In favour.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
Or
Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. We will now move to item agenda 7. Item agenda 7 is from pages 45 to 64. And we're looking at, and the recommendation is that the committee resolves that planning permission be refused. I will now take the vote. I will come to Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
In favour.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
or
and Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. We are now coming to item agenda 8, councillors, and it is recommended that the committee resolves that planning permission be refused for the reasons as outlined in the agenda from pages 65 to 84. I'll now take the vote. I'll come to Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
In favour.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
or
Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. We will now come to item agenda 10. The recommendation is, it is recommended that the committee resolves that plan permission be refused for those reasons outlined in the agenda from page 105 to 124. I'll take the vote. Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
In favour.
Councillor Turner,
In favour.
Councillor Kettle,
in favour,
Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. We're now on to item agenda 11. And the recommendation is that the committee resolves that planning permission be refused for the following reasons, as outlined in the agenda, page 125 to 144. I will come to Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
In favour.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
in favour,
Councillor Darren,
In favour.
and I will also vote in favour. We are now coming to item agenda 12. It's recommended that the committee resolves that plan permission be refused for the reasons as outlined in the agenda from page 145 to 164. I'll take the vote. Councillor McGeorge,
In favour.
Councillor Morris,
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer,
Regrettably, but in favour.
Councillor Turner,
4.
Councillor Kettle,
or
Councillor Darren.
In favour.
We will now, and I vote in favour. We will now move to item agenda 13, and it's resolved that this committee, it is recommended that this committee resolves that plan permission be refused for the reasons as outlined in the agenda from page 164 to 165 to 184, including the update sheet, which Martin's just going to come in and clarify so that we have that clear.
So the description for the application has been revised to remove the word retrospective from it, to take into account that this is actually a proposal application within the reports. So essentially the paragraph and the heading intentional unauthorized development is to be deleted from that. So therefore the conclusion in reasons for refusal, reason number 4 is recommended in the update sheet to be deleted, and therefore condition 5 will become condition 4.
Councillors, are we clear on that update sheet, and are we clear what we're looking at here? Anyone got any questions before I move to the vote?
So condition 5 is now becoming condition 4, you're saying, so can I just check
That's
that?
correct.
Could you read that out
Correct.
for me, please? Sorry.
Condition 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Reason 5.
Reason 5, yeah. So the council considers that the applicants do not fall within the definition of a traveller for the purposes of the PPTS. On that basis, the weight that can be given to the factors identified as being in favour of the proposal is lessened.
Thank you.
With that update, and for the reasons outlined from page 165 to 184, it's recommended that this committee resolves that planning permission be refused. I'll now go to the vote. I'll come to Councillor McGeorge.
In favour.
Councillor Morris.
In favour.
Councillor Rimmer.
In favour.
Councillor Turner.
4.
Councillor Kettle.
In favour.
Councillor Adairn.
In favour.
And I also vote in favour.
Councillor Brown, I think we've lost you.
Yes, thank you. With that concludes our meeting this evening. Thank you for attending.